Imagine living your life under the Jolly Roger, where every meal is a gamble. Being a pirate cook meant surviving with limited supplies and unpredictable dangers. Each morning, you wake up to the rolling of the ship, the constant hum of sailors in various stages of consciousness. The first task: assessing what remains from yesterday's provisions. You step into your cramped galley, surrounded by barrels, crates, and whatever makeshift cooking utensils have survived the voyage. Today, you're faced with a limited supply of salted beef, hardtack, onions, lemons, and a few spoiled vegetables. The challenge is to make something nourishing from these sparse ingredients while keeping your crew's rations balanced. The ship is a floating community, and each day brings new challenges. You must balance food rations among 30 hungry men who are always one furlong away from mutiny. One sailor has just returned from shore leave with a sack of vegetables, but they're questionable in quality. You know that every pound of food needs to be carefully weighed and distributed. Over the years, you've developed your own rationing system: 3 biscuits for breakfast, 2 for dinner, and 1 for supper. But even this delicate balance can be disrupted by the unpredictable nature of trade winds or the ship's captain's personal whims. On a particularly stormy morning, you're forced to ration the hardtack. The men grumble as they chew on these dense, crumbling biscuits, their faces etched with fatigue and hunger. You know that if everyone eats too much salted meat for breakfast, they'll be lethargic all day. But if they eat too little, they might go hungry by nightfall. So you decide to mix in some onions and a bit of water from the cask, creating a paste-like consistency. By lunchtime, the crew is starting to complain, but at least their stomachs are somewhat satisfied. Cooking in these harsh conditions is no easy feat. Scales, knives, even cooking pots can be scarce. You have a cast iron pot that serves multiple purposes, but it's already showing signs of wear from repeated use over months at sea. The ship's cookbooks are just piles of old parchment, and you rely on your own memory and experience to create meals. On one particularly busy day, the ship is under attack by a rival pirate vessel, and the galley becomes a makeshift weapons storage room. You manage to sneak away for a few minutes to prepare some stew with onions and lemons, if any are available. The lemon juice helps ward off scurvy, but it's a rare luxury. Supper is usually harder to come by. By the end of the day, all that remains are whatever leftovers can be salvaged. You try to save everything for the next meal, using stale hardtack as thickening agents and boiling down scraps into stews. One night, you're forced to use some moldy vegetables in a desperate attempt to create something edible. The men complain loudly, but at least they're still eating. Meals were not just sustenance, they were a source of morale and camaraderie. You know that the cook who can whip up a hearty stew or a sweet cake can boost spirits in ways you can't measure. These moments, however fleeting, are crucial for keeping your crew loyal and fighting fit. On particularly rough days, a well-prepared meal might be the only thing that keeps morale from plummeting. For example, one day, you managed to scavenge some fresh fish caught by another sailor on shore leave. You quickly cleaned and cooked it, making sure everyone had a taste of this rare delicacy. The entire crew gathered around the galley for what felt like a feast. The captain even joined in, offering praise that only made the moment more special. This kind of camaraderie is essential. Without it, life on the ship would be unmanageable. Yet even the best cook can't ignore the looming specter of scurvy and disease. Lack of fresh food leads to weak bones and rotting teeth. Your job is to mitigate these dangers with whatever medicines or foods you have at hand. You keep a small cache of vitamin-rich fruits from previous voyages, hoping they'll see your crew through another harsh winter. But often these supplies are insufficient. One sailor begins to show signs of scurvy, his gums bleed, and he's constantly in pain. You do your best with the remedies at hand, squeezing lemon juice into water, adding it to stews and soups, even dipping biscuits in it before serving. These simple measures can make a world of difference. However, there's only so much you can do. One day, the sailor collapses, his condition worsening despite your efforts. In the end, being a pirate cook meant more than just preparing meals. It was about surviving, about keeping morale high, and about ensuring the health of the entire crew. In this life, every day could be your last, but you made sure to make the most of each moment with whatever food you had. This life was difficult, misunderstood, and full of hidden challenges that few outside the deck would ever know. Despite the hardships, there are moments of joy and camaraderie that keep you going. A successful voyage might bring back enough fresh provisions to last for weeks, giving everyone a taste of home. But with each storm, there's always the fear that it will all be lost again. The next meal is never guaranteed, but every time you cook, you do your best to ensure that the crew survives another day. So what can we learn from this life? It teaches us about resilience and survival in the most extreme conditions. It highlights the importance of community and cooperation, even when things seem hopeless. And it reminds us that no matter how dire the situation, there's always something you can do to make a difference. This is the life of a pirate cook, a daily struggle for survival, a constant battle against the elements, and an unyielding spirit in the face of adversity. In the belly of the ship, where the temperature can soar to unbearable levels during the day or drop sharply at night, a cook must constantly monitor the heat on the open flames, knowing that even a momentary distraction could lead to disaster. The smell of burning food is enough to trigger memories of the last time provisions ran short and hunger gnawed at everyone's stomachs. Each meal is not just about sustenance, it's a lifeline for both body and spirit. The crew depends on you, the cook, to keep their strength up during long stretches without land or fresh food. But there's no room for error. Mistakes can cost lives. A single mistake in preparing a dish could lead to illness from tainted meat, or worse, poison, as some of your fellow sailors might add extra spices or herbs to confuse you. The stakes are high and the pressure is relentless. Despite these dangers, there are moments when the camaraderie among the crew can lift your spirits. Sharing a meal with the men who rely on your skills creates bonds that endure even during the most harrowing of times. A hearty meal can turn a grumpy sailor into a laughing one, providing temporary relief from the constant strain of life at sea. The cook's role is not just about cooking, it's about maintaining morale and ensuring that everyone has enough to eat. You are often seen as something of an authority figure, respected for your knowledge and skill in managing limited resources. However, this power comes with its own set of challenges. The cook must navigate the sometimes treacherous social dynamics on board, where alliances can shift like the wind. One particularly memorable moment came during a raid on a Spanish merchant vessel. The excitement of victory quickly turned to panic when the ship's hold was found to be empty, leaving you scrambling to concoct meals with what little supplies remained. It was then that you realized the true value of improvisation and resourcefulness in the face of scarcity. Every voyage brings new challenges and opportunities for innovation. You must adapt recipes to use whatever ingredients are available, sometimes blending native plants from different lands into your dishes. This forced creativity can lead to unexpected culinary masterpieces that keep the crew happy and content despite their harsh living conditions. But even with all this, the constant threat of violence and the unpredictable nature of the seas mean that every day is a battle for survival. A pirate cook must be more than just a chef. You are also a guardian of health and morale in an environment where both can easily slip away. Your success is measured not by the grandeur of your meals, but by how long your crew remains healthy and strong enough to fight another day. This life teaches us that even in the most extreme conditions, there is always room for innovation and human connection. The struggle may be fierce, but it's the small victories, like a well-cooked meal or a shared joke, that keep hope alive. So remember, whether you're facing a raging storm or a feast, every moment counts, and your efforts matter in ways that go beyond just filling bellies.